murderers, they have rapists, they have drug dealers. They're sending them all to the United States because we're run by a stupid person, a very stupid person who has no idea what's going on, and the only thing they're good at is cheating in elections and politics.
Straight talk.
Straight talk from his asshole. That's all they know is how to cheat in an election. Of course, they also know how to take over, apparently, all big corporations, big tech, the entire government. They were able to oust the sitting president using 8 volunteers from Atlanta. But they don't know how to do anything right. Okay. This is Section 3, shall we?
Past 45. How will he help make our elections great again?
Let's talk election integrity. We've got Chuck Schumer and the Democrats threatening to blow up the filibuster. Now, I'm going to throw both sides under the bus because, as you know, in decades past, both sides have tried to remove the filibuster when they wanted to push something through.
Yeah.
One, what do you think about removing the filibuster? And two, this John Lewis elections, voting rights, whatever bill they're trying to call it, to virtue signal, let's be real folks in the country.
Yes, it's just a virtue signaling bill. It doesn't actually, there's nothing legally binding about it. It's just to show off. Yeah, and the audio just keeps getting better. I don't know what the fuck. I have like a cat hair in my eye, and it's not fucking around. Okay, I think I got it.
Is a federal takeover elections. The Constitution says it's supposed to be run by the states.
Yep.
So your opinion on the filibuster and their move to take over the election?
Yeah, they run by the states, but they don't get to override the will of their voters and just go, we've decided as a state to fuck the voters in their federal elections. You can do it in your state elections, knock yourself out.
They're trying to do it. Mitch McConnell has done a terrible job of stopping it.
Yeah.
He gave them a 2-month hiatus. And during that hiatus, they got their act together. And they already got the non-energy bill. I call it the infrastructure bill. They got.
It's brilliant. It is brilliant. The turn of phrase, it is one of the best words. The infrastructure bill. Just so good. It's just like Afghanistan infrastructure week. That also ended.
It was supposed to be energy and it was supposed to be infrastructure. But let's just talk about infrastructure. 9% of the bill is infrastructure. So that means.
Yeah, which part? Why are you looking at us? Why are you looking at the camera? Is it because you feel caught because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about? Because you're talking out of your ass? Do you not consider broadband infrastructure at this point? Phone lines, lead pipes, streets, bridges, roads, dams, hydropower, charging stations, infrastructure, oh God.
With 90%, we're paying to get 9% crummy infrastructure, mostly Green New Deal crap that is like throwing the money out the window. And Mitch McConnell, when he gave them a 2-month stay, the other thing, he didn't use the debt ceiling. He should have used the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling is a beautiful weapon. We could have made it, and they'll use it on us. Let me tell you, if we take over, they will be using the debt ceiling on us like you wouldn't believe. And they did with me.
Did they?
They would always threaten. Mitch McConnell said, no, we don't want to use the debt ceiling. The problem is, the debt ceiling is largely psychological. Nobody really knows what it's something. It's a psychological thing. Maybe bad, maybe not. We know what they're doing.
What are you talking about? The debt ceiling is a legally binding thing. What do you mean it's what the fuck? It's a thing. I don't even know if it's real. They just talk about it. I don't know. Maybe it's, nobody knows if it's good, bad. Are we for it or against it? I don't know. Does anybody know? Nobody knows. I know more about the economy than the economists do, but I don't even. What's the debt ceiling? Jesus.
It's bad. Because they're taking $6 trillion and throwing it away, and we don't have that money. We already owe $30 trillion. We don't have that money. And they're throwing it away on waste. They're wasting the money. And Mitch McConnell is a bad leader, and the Republicans ought to get smart.
No, normally I don't interrupt when he's on one of his rhino rants. We just let this go.
Get rid of this guy and put somebody else in.
I have a question about the party, but real quick on that. The second biggest question I got from our viewers next to the vaccine, and your opinion on that, would be election integrity. Moving forward.
Yes. How can you have election integrity if John F. K. Jr. is not your JFK Jr. is not your running mate next time. Also, lizard people, baby milkshakes, adrenochrome, go.
Midterms.
Which there is none.
That's what I was going to
There is
ask.
no
you.
election.
How can people feel confident? I know certain states have taken measures to
Yeah,
ensure
they're
going to be
doing
safe.
some states.
But how do we ensure that midterms and then moving to 24, that they're going to be secure?
The election of 2020 was a rigged election. If you were watching the election at 10 o'clock in the evening, it was over. We had won Pennsylvania by massive numbers. And then all of a sudden, everything closed up. And
Yeah, it's amazing how well you do when you stop counting when you're ahead, when you know a lot of votes for the other person are coming in. That's why it went from like stop the count to stop the steal. Remember that?
reopened or reawakened.
Good God.
And all these votes started coming in. In many cases, there are no votes. The whole thing changed. Like,
Yes. They've counted them and counted them and counted them again and looked at them and held them up and they called people. Did you vote this way? Yes, I did. It is, but they don't exist. Jesus Christ.
overnight
Same
or
shit
over a
all the
period
time.
of a few days. This was the greatest scam, and I say it was the crime of the
Sniff mark.
century because of the outcome, which was rigged and stolen, but it was a rigged election. Because of that outcome,
Is there a difference between rigged and stolen in this particular circumstance? Anybody? Yeah, this is fun, by the way. Also, remember, experience a little joy right now, kids. This asshole is sitting in the library bar, another unused room at Mar-a-Lago, completely wasted. God knows what fucking people do in there the rest of the time. No fire in the fireplace. I don't know what's going on in that situation. Is there a light on? What is happening? Anyways, none of this matters, and he knows it. He's saying the same shit to another asshole who asks him the same questions. None of it is going anywhere, and he knows it. Thanks, Josh. Oh, by the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. I'm on every afternoon, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, except Thursdays. Tomorrow, I'll be on from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock because we do family FaceTime on Thursdays, and I'm not going to move it for anybody, even you guys, as much as I love you. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do a morning show, 9 a.m. Pacific time, and it's just live, and we chit-chat about, we don't go through these kind of clips. We just hang out, and it's a philosophical gathering and a nice morning hang. And then, of course, the radio show, the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on Saturdays. If you want to support the show, like and subscribe, give a thumbs up. Also, if you're a troll and you hate the show and you're very angry, please give a thumbs down. Please also write something in the chat. That helps us with the algorithm. You can do no harm here. There you go. Have I read the article in the New Yorker today? I have not, but I don't know which one you're talking about. So there you go. I'll look at the bottom of his chair. Okay. Is the bottle of water or his weird feet hook that he does?
the inflation, we have the bad border, we have the Afghanistan disaster, we have all of these things. None of them, they're all self-inflicted. None of these things would have taken place had the election been square.
Well, it was square, but for the record, he's right about Afghanistan because he was never going to get out. Cosmic Rose, thank you. Yes, please check Patreon messages and your postal mail for a package from patrons. Okay, I will do. Thank you. Is it the mug? Is that what you're talking about? Because I got that. I've been using it. I love it. Yeah, we might break
But when you
1,400
look
tonight.
at the
We gotta
things
share
that
it
are
around.
coming out, and the fake news is really the culprit here, because they don't go after anything, just like they didn't
No.
want to talk about Hunter Biden at all, because it made a difference of 15 points if they talked about it. The
Which the
laptop.
laptop's been on.
What laptop? There is no Hunter Biden laptop. Prove me wrong. Show a picture of it. Hold it up. Where's Rudy? Rudy's had it this whole time. Where the fuck is it? Have you seen it? Anybody? Does he hold it up when he goes on Fox? If you had it, would you ever be without it? You'd pose everywhere you went with it. You'd bring it to fucking CPAC. You'd go, ladies and gentlemen, the Hunter Biden laptop. Right? Yeah? Bullshit. Thank you, John Deere.
We
course
know the
it
material is real.
But it made a difference of 15 points, okay? Now, it didn't matter. I got 75 million votes. Nobody nobody believed. And I got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our nation. And
because of mail-in voting. Letting people vote benefits. I mean, that's why Republicans got, I mean, you gain seats in the House because of mail-in voting. But you lost because the mail-in voting helped Democrats more because there were more voters. You were outnumbered.
I don't believe he got 80 million votes, okay? I don't believe from his basement he'd go to do a rally and nobody would show up. I go to do a rally and I'd have 40, 50,000 people and more.
Yeah, but you also killed off a bunch of your supporters during that time as well. Because what kind of an asshole has a maskless gathering that size repeatedly during a fucking pandemic? Who would do that? We don't vote by rally, dum-dum. And a bunch of those people are return customers. And the minute you started charging, getting people to pay money for these little free dangle events that you were doing, what happened? Ask Bill O'Reilly. How much did you clear? We made $2 million gross, according to Bill O'Reilly, on those shows, right? You grossed $2 million? It was $1.9 million in costs for those venues.
And nobody would show up, and then all of a sudden we lose that state. Not possible. You know, it's interesting. They have like little...
It's the same assholes over and over again. Who gives a shit if you have the same 40,000 cult-like followers? Dude, 30 Seconds to Mars can draw crowds that size, and they pay $150 a ticket in almost any state. They're not going to win a single election, though.
Sort of rules of thumb. If you win Florida
they charge money.
and Ohio, you win the election. But if you win Florida...
Yeah, in 1992.
Ohio and Iowa, and I won them big. Then not only do you win, it's like nobody's ever lost an election that's won those states.
They have.
You win Alabama in record numbers, and you win South Carolina in record numbers, and then you...
Like every other Republican, even the ones that lost.
Lose Georgia. And you see what just came out in Georgia, by the way, where they have on video, now nobody's seen it yet, but they have videos of many people, like 200 and some odd people, every morning going and stuffing the ballot boxes, these fake boxes that were set up, for far more votes than...
Oh, you mean the people putting their votes in?
Necessary to win the election.
From already talking about...
Right. That's right. Jake and Logan Paul sell out arenas. Right. And he's not going to win an election anytime soon.
In terms, we're going to need more mailboxes on the corner, the drop boxes.
Those drop boxes
so we can stand in line to get a test or a vaccine, but we can't stand in line to vote.
Those drop boxes are a criminal event, okay? And what's happening with the drop boxes, how about where they have boxes 97% for Biden, 3% for Trump, okay?
Yeah, because of the areas that they're in, they were the places that were denied polling places.
We won the election. We won it big. I ran twice. I won it the first time, and I did better the second time. You know, I was told, first time I got 63 million votes. I was told that if I got the same, I couldn't lose, okay? Because it...
Right. So you wrote a check to a bunch of these dudes to get them to fraudulently create tens of thousands of votes and in a bunch of these states, and you lost anyways. And there's nothing you can do about it. And all these Republicans don't want you to look at the votes and don't want people to scrutinize it because they're going to recognize that Biden actually got more votes and that a bunch of your votes were fucking fake. That kind of thing.
No enthusiasm for Biden. And if you look at all the other stats, like the Ohio and Florida thing, you look at...
Yeah, it's funny. It's almost like people chose to vote based on competence, not enthusiasm.
There's like 9 of them, stats. Every single one of them I won, and yet...
He's spitting on Dan Ball. Danny Balls is leaning back. I'm like, I shouldn't have brought this up.
Lost the election. Never happened to a president before. But if I got 63...
Yes, It's true. I have to say, it is true though. Not only is Trump a loser, he's a special kind of a loser. He lost on such a scale and in such an original. I mean, you got to give it. You got to give him one thing: is that when he loses big and he's original. You know what I mean? When they made a loser like Trump, they broke the mold. Except the mold that's obviously in his deep folds.
I got 12 million more votes. No president, no sitting president has ever gotten more votes than I got, and they've never had 12 million either. In other words, they won by an extra million, or a lot of them got less, like Biden in his second term. Got less votes than he got in his first term, but he still won.
Biden is still in his first term, by the way. He does know that, right?
I got far more, and I lost the election.
Yeah.
Doesn't
When we
work.
talk about the future.
Yes, you lost. Big F. Like, just sorry. His hair fell off again. It happens.
Of the party real quick before we end with you here. It seems to be a little fractioned off. I think the Democrats are more fractioned than Republicans as far as their old school, like a Joe Manchin, their new, more progressive, and then their radical liberals. But Republicans have some fractioning in the GOP as well. What do you see for the future of the party? Because we have a lot of America First candidates that are in office and running that are on board with your principles and your
Mostly those
policy,
people.
right?
Mostly.
And then you got some of the old guard, and then you got a couple never Trumpers and never America First folks.
Rhinos.
Yes. What do we see?
By the way, never America First, folks. Is that a thing? Is that something? Is that a phrase they use? It's a little clunky. Beyond, and it's fucking stupid. Look at that, 1.4. Hey, welcome everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, share the show. Apparently it's working. Hi, how you doing? And yes, I do this long form. We got one more segment of this. It's shorter than the rest, I think, but there you go.
How do we get that party together for 22?
How do we get them?
Well, that's it. Yeah, what'll bring them together? Nothing, fucko. This guy's miserable. He can't wait for this. First of all, this interview's like dragging ass. But he doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself. Trump doesn't give a fuck if the entire Republican Party goes down in flames in 2022. He's sort of counting on it. He wants it to be that way. He literally, like, well, I'll show you, like there's some sort of X, right?
Together, President Trump will answer that question about.
Well, he ends it by going, "I lost. I don't think so," and he says, "I don't think so" under his breath.
Of the GOP. We come right back in 2 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Wrong video. There we go.
Minutes of our face-to-face with 45.
It seems to be a little fractioned off. I think the Democrats are more fractioned than Republicans as far as their old school, like a Joe Manchin, their new.
No. Passed the largest rescue package in the nation's history, largest infrastructure bill in 30 years, only one of merit. There wasn't like patchwork little things. Infrastructure, we got out of Afghanistan. 3 biggies already. 70% vaccinated in the country. Schools open. You can go to church. You didn't realize that, right? You can still go to church. I mean, some churches are like, go easy, wear a mask. We're worried because a lot of our folks are old. But most of them are vaxxed now, and they still go to church. Right? Churches are back open. Trump's not, now granted, I've seen Biden go to church multiple times this year. I have never, the way we saw him talk to Pastor Jeffries when he's never gone to church where he didn't speak. Unless it's basically a campaign event, he won't set foot in the fucking place. He went Pastor Jeffries' place, and he stood outside the burned out church holding the Bible and going, "Is that your Bible?" And he goes, "It's a Bible."
Progressive, and then they're radical liberals. But Republicans have some fractioning in the GOP as well. What do you see for the future of the party? Because we have a lot of America First candidates that are in office.
Yeah, she's number one with a rocket. By the way, She don't waste a single fucking dime trying to not get her elected. She does more besides, I mean, phoning in an insurrection from inside the House and the security risk that she is. Besides that, she's completely useless from a legislative standpoint. She's not crafting bills. Even her attempt to impeach Biden didn't have a co-sponsor, couldn't go anywhere, was written like shit. This is not somebody who's going to come up. Maybe if she's in for 10, 15 years and she finally like settles down and starts doing a job, but she's just there to QAnon. So have at it. If the Republicans aren't going to separate themselves from somebody like her, then if they want to, brand themselves with MTG, knock yourself out.
That are on board with your
nice.
principles and,
Thanks,
and
Rebecca.
your
Mostly those
policy,
people.
right?
Mostly.
And then you got some of the old guard, and then you got a couple never Trumpers and never America First folks.
Rhinos.
Yes. What do we see, and how do we get that party together?
Yes. Please tell us. Please attack rhinos, and then say something nice about Jim Jordan, and then go back to attacking rhinos, and then say the election was rigged. That's pretty much how it's going to go.
22.
I think we have some bad leadership. Mitch McConnell, it's time for him to get out. Never a fan, always supported him, but never a fan of this guy. He's a gift to the...
Really? You're not a fan? I mean, as human turtle hybrids go, it's like the world's saddest Disney cartoon star years after. Just you're not a fan? You're not a fan of melted ice cream?
Democrats. He cost us 2 seats in Georgia. You look at what he did in Georgia with the $600.
Oh, did he? Oh, wait. Sorry. He cost us this. Not you telling everyone not to vote. Fuck it. Thanks, Amy. Yes, it's Mitch McConnell's fault that you told everyone why bother voting. It's not gonna count anyways. And they also literally the definitive difference was the fact that his folks stayed home. That was it. That was the margin. They fucked it up. Guaranteed it.
2,000 versus 600. I'm not saying you have to play that game, but you can't win. I mean, they're going to have to love you a lot to be...
By the way, he's talking about the stimulus check, that he didn't want to do a full 2,000. He wanted to do $600, and that was the negotiation. And that it was that he was like, you got to pay off the voters, otherwise they're not going to elect you. Why not? It's largely a conservative state. What is it about the voters that you just think they can all be bought in that regard? You don't think there's a case to be made? You don't think you can make that case? Well, then don't fucking make it. And he's not, he has no control over that. That was up to the voters. Put whichever. He's saying 600. The other people are saying 2,000. They're like, no, we're going with these folks. And largely because of how fucked the voting was and how they're trying to mess with the vote in Georgia. That had more of an impact than the stimulus check did.
To take far less money when they were handing out all this money. But that was the only commercial virtually that they ran. You got to change Mitch McConnell. He's going to be a huge drawback for the Senate. And also, we have, and I have to say this, we have great people also. When I got impeached, I had in the House, I believe it was 196 Republicans.
Yeah, this is the same shit we heard in the last interview, too. Name somebody that isn't Jim Jordan and Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't even know that he name drops MTG. Everybody else does.
100% voted for Trump. 100% against the scam. And other than Romney...
Jesus, sniff more.
Lost half a vote, which, Romney is Romney. He'll never be any good. There'll never be a good Romney, okay? He's bad news. But even Romney, it was a half a vote, right? But I got almost everybody to vote in my favor. That was very interesting because the Democrats have two things. They're horrible on policy, but they stick together. I mean, their policy, what is their policy?
Together, they're good at messaging, projecting, and they got the media in their back.
By the way, listen to the description of Democrats by Trump and Danny Balls here. Think about this for a second. Think about how Democrats talk about Democrats most of the time. And now think about how they're talking about. Democrats stick together. They're great on messaging. And they're ruthless. Huh? Since fucking when? And also, this is, this is also the idea that people say about Republicans. Well, they sure are good at messaging. Democrats are just no good at messaging. We're just not. Yeah. And meanwhile, they're like, the problem with the Democrats is they really got their messaging down. Like, who the fuck? Do both sides just concede this ground and act like the other side has some sort of masterful control of the messaging? As if there is an actual clean message for a lot of the more complicated problems. Maybe that's part of the problem, kids. Maybe that you're looking for a simple message that gets across something that's enormously complex and has a lot of moving parts. Other than, this is enormously complex and has a lot of moving parts, and I feel competent to guide this thing. More so than my bumper sticker opponent over here who thinks that America first will be enough.
And they have the media in their back pocket.
Yeah.
But what is their policy?
Yes. Oh, that's, by the way, Democrats can't control anything, can't win anything. Snowflakes aren't capable of anything. But we do have control of the media, big tech, corporations, and the U.S. government. All three branches, apparently, even though there are more conservatives, because Roberts hasn't gone their way on a couple of things. That's Democrats having massive control over the how the fuck? What is he sniffing besides Adderall and benzodiazepines?
Voters, no voter ID, sanctuary cities, take away your Second Amendment.
By the way, no one's asking, again, Biden ran on buy a shotgun. You don't need a machine gun for self-defense, and if you do, you're probably shooting cops, so fuck you. We have a civilized society. You should be able to handle it with a handgun or a shotgun. If you need 60 rounds to fend off someone, more than likely they're probably serving a warrant because you're a drug dealer or a human trafficker, so fuck you. The tree of liberty's gotta be flurp and derp. I have to be able to walk around with a fully loaded AR-15 with 2 clips duct taped together for fast reloading in case I decide to empty, just mag dump on somebody. I can just flip that fucker over, rack it back and bing, bing, bing. Oh, yes, right, and we can rig elections. I forgot. We can rig elections. We have control of tech. We run the media. Hollywood. We have all the corporations, and yet somehow we can't handle Xi Jinping. I don't know what the fuck. So, all right. Meanwhile, this guy did nothing but kiss Xi Jinping's ass, even into the time he thought the guy had attacked us with a bioweapon. Fucking hell. But anyway, because we want to take your Second Amendment away because we think open carry, while legal, is fucking dumb. It's dangerous. And it allows psychopaths who do want to kill a bunch of kids to walk right up to the mall, right up to the school, right up to the building, because nobody can bother them because open carry. If you bug any of these fuckers, then we're into militias, painting bullseyes on cops like the fucking Bundy clan. Can you legally in this country carry an AR-15 right now around your waist and walk around with a full clip? Yes, you can. Is it stupid? Yes. It's fucking dumb. Because we don't check papers, for example. Let me use language these assholes might understand. We don't check papers in this country. I don't know if you're an American or not until we start talking. And as a police officer, you're like, okay, there's a guy walking down the street. He's wearing an American flag on his sleeve, but that doesn't mean he's an American. But he's got a bunch of fucking magazines on his belt, and he's got one on this, and he's walking straight towards the school. And I can't even walk up to him and ask him where the fuck he's going and why without a rally starting around the fucking Capitol building that might end up getting our governor killed for nothing. And because of that, because we can walk freely, unless you want to get rid of that, unless your argument is we need to get rid of it, cops need to be able to walk up and say papers, please, to anybody. In which case, then, if you're carrying a gun, we can just go, papers, please. Where are you going? Oh, this guy, this is my ID and stuff. I live over here. What? Okay, why are you walking around with a fucking gun like this? Because I can. You do realize it's a dangerous and deadly weapon. We got this covered. We're the fucking cops. We'll deal with this stuff, right? We don't need you mistaking what's going on. We know, for example, like who's undercover and who's not. And you don't. We don't need you shooting a shoplifter and lighting up every house across the fucking street because you think it's suddenly your job when it ain't. Go the fuck home.
We're going to take away your Second Amendment, so you can't have a gun, you can't protect yourself, and at the same time...
And by the way, and again, just because we think open carry's fucking dumb and weak and foolish and sets up a situation where dangerous people can get closer to their target before opening fire and going out in a hail of bullets and, checking out by cop. And all thanks to you fuckers, we can't even, we set up a whole thing in this town where, if you're walking around and they give you shit, we storm the fucking, Capitol building or the courthouse steps and gack up the whole fucking downtown for days on end with assholes that are armed to the teeth for no fucking reason. So this asshole can just walk. What's the purpose? So people like that can just walk up and what are you going to do? Shoot them after they've already shot 15 people? After you waved at them, hey, nice AR-15. The fuck? Grow up. Get on with life. Meanwhile, Biden's like, if you can't hit it with 9 shots or you don't trust your aim, get a shotgun for home defense. But for fuck's sake. And again, you can have those things, but what are you doing? And all this Tree of Liberty bullshit just means to the rest of us, we all know that you just want to kill cops and first responders and soldiers at some point. Oh, thanks, Lulu.
Defund the police. Let's get rid of the police, okay?
And you have
They have really...
And Biden ran against defund the police. Specifically. He literally was like, protesting is one thing, but rioting and looting are criminal and you should go to fucking jail. My spicy language, his feeling.
Horrible policy. And frankly, if they didn't, you wouldn't...
Yes, by the way, a horrible policy, allegedly, perhaps, but none of them were Biden's. I don't know who the fuck this idiot thought he was running against. Maybe that was part of your problem. Maybe that's why you fucking lost. Maybe that's part of, besides the fact that Trump's a loser and will always be a loser and has always been a loser, was born on fucking third base and thought he hit a triple, took his dad's company, which actually built buildings, turned it into a branding company, lost more money in 1 year lost more money in the history of the New York real estate market in the same year he wrote Art of the Deal. The fucking set designer on The Apprentice went, this dude's office looks like shit. It's run down. They're on their last legs. They had to buy him furniture to make him look rich. Dude is broke. He's a fucking loser. But one of the reasons why he was a loser in this election is because I don't know who the fuck he thought he was running against. Right? At what point? Is any of this what Biden was running on? Seriously. Oy.
Republican Party right now, they have the dumbest policy that it's not even thinkable. So,
well, that's kind of true.
Great Republicans.
I know 1.3 in the chat. I think we can hit 1.4. But you got to share the show and tell people about it and all that kind of stuff. We'll do it. We're growing naturally. It's organic. I love it. Our show's growing with like oats and vitamin C. Right.
Unbelievable people in the Republican Party. You don't get to speak about them much, but I deal with them, and they're really good people, and they work hard, and they want to make America great again. That's what they want, and we have plenty of them.
What? First of all, who are they? If you can't talk about them, because it's like the same 9 fuckers. Nunez just stepped down to run his social media thing, and has been calling people going, how do you run a social media network? Like, oh my God, the best people. Who the fuck hires Devin Nunes, a dairy farmer, allegedly, who's been in Congress for a few years, to run their social media and, you know, their media empire, because I guess it's going to be a channel too. It's the Trump Media Group or whatever. Who hires somebody like Devin Nunes to do that? I'm dead serious. Like, you can't find somebody who used to work at fucking Fox News? Call Bill O'Reilly. He's got to know somebody. Jesus Christ. How can you say the best people when you literally tap Devin Nunes to run your media group? I don't give a fuck if he's on, I mean, unless he's just got so much compromise on you. Lord.
Be running, and I know you can't announce it with rules and whatever with the election.
Yeah, whatever, without the, I know you can't tell me because you'll have to stop taking money from your super PAC, and you can't afford to do that because the minute you stop taking money from your super PAC, all your properties will go into probate.
Process and the campaign financing and all that, but that's probably one of the biggest questions we had too. Will you be running?
Well, I mean, they do ask the question. You know, I've given this answer so many times. I'll be announcing it fairly soon, and I think people are going to be very happy with my answer. Our country is going to hell.
It is, Mr.
All right, well, that's how he's going to run it. Trump, JFK Jr., our country is going to hell. Elect me to make sure.
Final question is, I hear you got a new book.
I do.
Right? Our journey.
Oh, God. Yeah, the only reason he agreed to do this bullshit is to sell this stupid picture book, and if he can't sell copies of it. Again, you notice all these rooms they're filming in Mar-a-Lago are conspicuously empty? A former president owns 2 golf courses with, like, big boardrooms, big ballrooms in them, and they're always fucking empty.
I do. It's a wonderful book, and it's pictures, and I did it because somebody...
It's a wonderful book, and it's pictures. It got pictures. Oh my God, the pictures. Hold on. It have pictures. I'm on the picture book. A picture book for me and you. It's a book called A Journey Together, where we do the thing we do. Have a book show, eat a book, and have a big book. Yay.
said, please, we want some pictures. They want anything from the past 4 years. They love...
Yeah, that's what I want. They got the pictures, and one have crayon book and the coloring book and the book and the picture book. They want anything. They just want to take the book and put it on the face and lay in the backyard and pretend it 4 years ago. Oh, remember when it was all getting started and it was 2017 and happy before anything started happening, when they're like, yay, we onesies. Oh, I'll buy the book. What's in the book? Oh, these are just pictures from his Instagram. What a cheap pile of garbage.
Even though I had all these phony witch hunts and all of the phony investigations would still...
I hope they caught the phony witches, because it's terrible when fake witches run around.
They continue forever. The Russia hoax, it turned out to be a hoax by them.
Okay.
Think of how bad somebody is. They create a false hoax. It's actually a true hoax.
Yeah, that's a good point. A false hoax would be true, so a true hoax would be false. This is dumber than me. Oh my gosh, what is he saying? We don't know. What a bunch of poo-poo.
They continue forever. The Russia hoax, it turned out to be a hoax by them.
Yep.
Think of how bad somebody is. They create a false hoax. It's actually a true hoax, I guess, if you think about it, right? But they create this false narrative, right? And they make up the story about Russia. And people come up to me, Russia. but they create a false narrative. They know it's false.
Right.
And then a guy like Shifty
Then-
Schiff gets up, Watermelon Head. He gets up to the microphone and he said, Donald Trump.
Dandy, you had somebody laugh about that on the side. Watermelon Head. He looked like Andy Kaufman. I don't know if you know, but Adam Schiff looked like my grandma used to watch a show called Taxi, and the character Adam Schiff looked like this guy. Hold on, Adam Schiff kind of looked like him. That's why it made me happy. Thank you very much. He did say that. That's so fun. So the Laca Gravis, and then Adam I don't want to misspell that, get in trouble. Adam Schiff, there to go, and then the guy, and then hold on, and there he is, and I'm just saying, I have never seen Tony Clifton and Adam Schiff in the same place at the same time.
Jr. should go.
If you believe Adam Schiff on the moon, Adam Schiff on the moon. If you believe they put some Schiff on the moon, Schiff on the moon.
Jail because of Russia. So he knows the story's a hoax, but he wants my son to go to jail. These are sick people.
And Hunter's out selling paintings for $500,000. My next
Yeah, well, it's very good. It's very good. And right now Eric is taking painting lessons.
How's everybody doing? How's the family? How's Ben,
Family's
lady,
good.
Don, Eric, everybody's
Family's
well?
good, working hard. I think things are going well, other than the country. I mean,
I think things are going well. He's asking him how his family is. I think they're going. I don't talk to him. I don't know these. Who? How's Eric? Who? Trump. Your son? Oh, that guy. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I guess he's good. Listen to this shit. Honest to God. How's your family? Watch the answer.
Don, Eric, everybody's
family's
well?
good, working hard. I think things are going well, other than the country. I mean, the country's going horribly. Now, I would rather, because maybe we should leave on this one.
Okay.
I would love to see Biden do a great
He's been trying to get out. Yeah, I'd love to see him do a great
I'd
job.
love to see energy
want our president
independence.
to fail.
I'd love to see everything. Our country is going down the tubes at a level that nobody can believe, and it's going fast. And the whole world disrespects us. They laugh at us. Putin, Xi, Kim Jong-un, they're all the Iranian leaders when they.
Yeah, they're all laughing at us, are they? They're all laughing at us. Hang on one second. Let's check in, shall we? Should we check in? Let's see. Whoops, hold on. That's not right. Russia news. Oops. Ukraine, Russia. Today's let's see the latest. There's a bunch of shit. U.S. sanctions North Koreans citing ballistic missile tests. Oh, that's rough. I thought he's too busy laughing. All right. NATO-Russia talks at impasse amid real risk of Ukraine war. Aramco gains footing in Russia's backyard with Polish oil deal. Oh, that's rough for Russia. But I'm sure he's laughing it off right now. NATO-Russia hold talks of fears against security. We've seen this stuff a bunch of times. Russia-China block UN support for ECOWAS sanctions on Mali. Yawn. Moscow NATO ties approaching moment of truth. Russian official. U.S. and Russia still at odds over talks after talks over Ukraine tensions. U.S. Russian officials meet in Geneva as Ukraine tensions mount. War games missile deployment on table in Russia talks U.S. What will Russia gain from intervening in Kazakhstan? Oh yeah, that's the other thing too, is that they're having to send paratroopers into Kazakhstan of all places. And they're doing great. This is exactly what he wanted to be doing. Sending troops in the fucking snow to Kazakhstan. Yeah, but I'm sure he's laughing. Let's see, Xi Jinping. Let's see how. Let's see, how is Xi Jinping doing? Oops. There you go, Xi Jinping. There we go. News. Let's just check some news on this. Let's see. I'll just go. Let's see. China economy. Maybe that'll give us a piece of the news there. Here you go. Here's where he's laughing. Goldman cuts China's GDP target for 2022, and exports aren't the problem. Xi Jinping has been taking on China's capitalists. Here's why that will change in 2022. Xi Jinping doesn't know what to do after popping a real estate bubble. Amazon silenced criticism of Xi to do business in China. That's terrible. Don't do that. Thank you, Al Jazeera, for reporting on that. 2022 will be a big year for Xi Jinping, but he must fix China's economic slide. I'm sure he's laughing through the whole slide. You know what I mean? Here you go, Wall Street Journal. The slow meltdown of the Chinese economy. Let's see. China's inflation eases the U.S. prices rise. What that means for investors. China's long-term economic direction. How China will change under common prosperity. China's year of living less dangerously. Xi Jinping is set to extend his 10-year rule in 2022. This is how China's transformed under his reign. We'll see. China's big idea, stable economy, crucial political issue in 2022. China's property slump shows signs of improving. What it means for investors. China will exhaust all means to lure global talent. So kidnapping isn't out of the question, I guess, is right there. After a year of crackdowns, investors welcome Beijing's new focus on stability. You think? China economy, the fallout of the Evergrande crisis. Uncertainty ahead for Xi's China. Xi Jinping's leadership. Micromanagement that leaves underlings scrambling. Rural migrants are denied rights in Chinese cities. Can Xi fix the problem? Is China's power peaking? And other top national security questions for 2022. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang urges more tax cuts to boost China. So Omicron puts China's zero COVID strategy to its toughest test. Scholz tells Xi he wants to deepen economic ties as a German chancellor, the new guy, with China. China's history explains its zero COVID strategies. By the way, while we're dislodging from Europe on an economic level as well, in terms of the EU in general. Yeah, so I'm sure Xi is having a great time right now. Let's see. What's the best? Look at moment. Since we're going over tonight anyways, what the fuck? Let's try and find something that's here like this, downside risk to China's growth outlook is small, Wang. China's interest in Kazakhstan is mostly economic nature, says strategist. China's growth may slow to 4.7% in 2022, which is great for us because we're a little country. When you have that many fucking people, that's not nearly enough to keep up with the humans that you have in your country. Is China headed for an economic crisis? Yeah. Sri Lanka's debt to China adds to economic crisis. China's economy, what's its weak spot? China's economy stumbles on Evergrande debt, energy shortages. Outlook for China's economy in 2022. China's economy weakens as consumers turn wary. What China's economic slowdown means for global investors. Making sense of Chinese economy. China became between common prosperity and economic crisis. China's economy suffers major setbacks. And by the way, Dalio, he's like a hedge fund manager, and he's had like 1.2% yield on his hedge fund over the years or some shit. Like, why does anybody think, like, I don't know. I guess having money is enough for people to listen to you. Triple-digit oil in orders for second quarter. Okay. Economic entanglement, systemic rivalry, Germany and China at a crossroads. Could Evergrande collapse topple China's economy. That's 3 months ago. China's economy slowing more than people think, Miller. China's Q3 GDP weaker than expected, grows its slowest pace in the year, which is bad because it was already down. Is China's economy stumbling in the dark? China's economy slows as property slump deepens 4 weeks ago. Evergrande crisis, energy shortage, the end of China's rapid economic growth. I mean, fucking come on. Is China's economic model broken? I'm sure every day that Xi Jinping wakes up laughing and laughing and laughing about Biden and the fact that it used to economically, at the beginning of last year, the common wisdom was that China's economy would overtake ours in 2024. Now, after the year that we've had, they are projecting to overtake us in 2030, if ever. It has been pushed at least out to 2030. And that's if they go back to some sort of like Deng Xiaoping openness, which they're not going to do.
That way, if we had a president, they wouldn't be talking that way. When they say that, that's a disgrace. But that's because we have a man.
They think they know he can't stand you. So because of how things work in that part of the world, they think they can curry favor with him by shit talking you and Pompeo. And they don't like you anyways. You fucked up the deal. They had a deal. It was going well. And you fucked it up. You fucked it up.
And we have a country that's no longer respected.
He can't be pulling the strings, though, Mr. President.
I don't want to get into that, but
mental fog that's
certainly it's an unusual situation. We've never had anything like this.
Why do you want to give all this up and go back into politics?
Well, it is a nice.
Why'd you do it in the first place?
Because I love the people.
Every guy in the world almost.
No, but I love this country, and the country. We're going to make it great again. It's going to be make America great again.
Yeah.
Okay, because we made.
Oh, my God.
Great. We had the greatest economy. We had the strongest borders we've ever had. We had the lowest taxes we've ever. Now they want to double your taxes.
No, we didn't.
Triple your taxes.
Quadruple your taxes. 5x your taxes. Trintuple your taxes.
You know,
Just
they
up.
want to pay for all this stuff by raising everybody's taxes.
Oh, yeah.
And the
I know,
stuff
I live
they're
in
paying
California,
for is
sir.
bad.
I know. I live
You
in
know
California.
very well.
Yeah, 47%.
You know very well.
Final words to every American, not just Trump supporters, a word of encouragement. Because people are hurting, and they're struggling.
Our country.
Yeah, they're struggling and they're afraid. And you just told them our country is going to hell. Even though we got 3.9% unemployment, and a lot of people have left the job market because they don't have to work because their partner is making enough where they can stay home and raise the kids, be they male or female. It doesn't quite matter. There's lots of opportunities where people are like, hey, you can work and I'll stay home and, I'll have a little thing on the side or something, start a little Etsy store maybe, see if that grows into something, but I don't need a regular job. And I'll be with the kids, nuclear family, all the family values, all that shit that they like. No. People need to be grinding. And as soon as your kid hits 16, they need a summer job. Otherwise, they won't have any character. They'll grow up shitty. What do you want them to do? Stay home and study?
Is in big trouble, but it's going to come back. We're going to bring it back. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to bring it back. It's going to take a while. What they've done, the damage that they've done is incalculable. I mean, it's not believable that they could have done this.
Incalculable. And it isn't, the damage is unbelievable, largely because it's not believable.
The damage. And they have really 10 more months to just go wild with the filibuster and then rush things through. And they're going to try and do it. And Mitch McConnell has to be a lot tougher than he has been on them. He's tougher on Republicans than he is on Democrats. He's a gift to the Democrats. Yeah. I'm telling you, the 2-month extension he gave on the debt ceiling and other things was
Oh, fuck, we're in a loop again.
Disaster. It allowed them to get their act together, and then they went and they passed this ridiculous infrastructure bill that was a victory for them, a loss for us, but very bad for the country because it's not infrastructure for the most part.
Yeah, I thank you so much.
For the most part, what's in it? What bugs you about it? What part of it don't you like? Because anybody in your position would have some awareness of what was actually in the bill if they were going to criticize it, and would go, it's only 9% this. I mean, they have a thing in there where yada, yada, yada. You pull something out of it and you go, this is too much. This shouldn't be in there. And people go, well, that was a compromise to get the other stuff, but this is definitely necessary. That we had to grease the wheels with some of these folks to get them on board.
Thank you very much.
I know you're a busy
Thank
man.
you. Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate it.
And again, I would like to thank President Donald J. Trump and the entire
Former president. Boring. Also boring. And the same shit over and over again. And there's no way he's fucking running. And if he even announcing is going to cost him so much fucking money that he's going to be, I've decided not to run. My doctor told me I can't. Or some shit. I can't run. My doctor told me, not that there's anything wrong with me. It's that it's your kids, Marty. What, they become assholes or something? Yeah.